How much pressure is on CP3?
It's a lot of pressure on CP3. And look, yesterday I said that, before Game 5, I said that his legacy was on the line, that if he win Game 5, it would cement him probably top 5, the number 3 spot of all-time greats as far as the point guard position. But right now, his legacy is on the line to get past this series because Chris Paul has a history of blowing 3-1 leads. So he better not blow this one because I believe that his legacy will take a hit. Being up 3-1 is going to feel like he has the jank. It's a lot of pressure on CP3 to close this series out. It's a lot riding on his legacy to close this series out, and I'm a big CP3 fan. I thought he should have won MVP this season. I've been applauding him, but at the end of the day, he got to get past this Clippers team.
This question stresses me out, Roz, Perk, and Charlie. I'm absolutely vexed.
I remember your reaction in the meeting.
Oh my God, I'm so vexed. There's plenty of pressure to go around in this series because on the flip side, is CP3 under more pressure than the Clippers and Paul George? I hate that. Oh God, I sometimes hate that we do legacy with rings because there's no doubt that CP3 is one of the greatest point guards to come through this league. But golly, Roz, he did. This really, I don't know. If I had to pick between the two.
This will come back to haunt you. Don't worry.
I think there's, oh God, you guys, is there more pressure on the other side? Oh, I don't want to answer. Go, Roz.
Okay, Monica. No, I feel you, Monica. First of all, I feel the angst because Perk saying his entire legacy is on the line. I'm surprised in you. You're a former NBA player. You don't think that's a little dramatic? A man's full body of work is on the line based on this moment? In my opinion, let me just first take the argument. There is a lot of pressure on Chris Paul. Let me be very clear in saying there's a lot of pressure on Chris Paul. We know, he knows, his teammates know he hasn't made a finals. Cool. But beyond that, bigger than that, the Suns simply need Chris Paul to lead them in this moment. You know, when it's all said and done, if the Suns lose to the Clippers here, the overall story, it will not be think pieces on a collapse. The story of this team will be young guys who overachieved, made the playoffs for the first time in 11 years. They'll call this season a success and look to the bright future of the Suns. The think pieces will be, however, about Chris Paul falling short again. And so that comes with pressure. And hey, basketball's a team sport. Devin Booker could be playing better, but Chris Paul needs to lead him, show him how to play with urgency in the playoffs. Devin Booker hasn't been here before. I think you mentioned it earlier in the show. Crowder could be playing better. Bridges could be shooting better. But a lot of their production comes off of the rhythm that Chris Paul creates for them. So Chris Paul there is pressure in Chris Paul showing up here because this Suns team is young. They haven't been here before, and he's got to show them how. Don't forget, we gave Chris Paul so much credit for their wins over the Lakers and the Nuggets. Like, we credit him for Ayton coming into his own. We credit him for Booker. Anything good happened, we said, well, Chris Paul taught him. So if they fall short, there's got to be accountability for Chris Paul, too.
I don't like it, y'all. I don't like
Chris Paul does need to lead them because the starters, other than Devin Booker and Chris Paul, this past Game 5 only combined for 19 points. So a lot of the pressure does fall to CP3.
My only thing, Roz and Perk, Charlie, real quick. My only thing is I somewhere, somehow, if it doesn't happen, it becomes, on the other side, Paul George shaking all that, whether you agree or disagree, he deserves, all of the flack that he has caught. Like, I feel like if the Phoenix Suns were playing, who could they, Dallas, I think, in this series, or if they were playing the Jazz, right, then it would be Chris Paul. But I just think on the other side, there is almost as much pressure, and so I hesitate to say I definitely can't put his entire legacy.
So yeah, what is your response here? How much pressure?
He's under pressure. He's under pressure. If I had to give it a percentage, he's under 80% of the pressure, right? But on the flip side, I think if this Clippers squad can pull it off, that to me will be just as big a story. And so yes, Chris Paul is absolutely under pressure. Also because he's aging. Like, how many more chances is he going to get here? But I agree with Roz that this Suns team, in many ways, is ahead of schedule. Perk.
Well, look, they're ahead of schedule, but they're here, okay? They're here, and they took a 3-1 lead 2 of those games were without Chris Paul. So with that being said, you have to go down to the history books of Chris Paul in the postseason. And I'm not saying it's entirely his fault, but you look at times when he played against the Oklahoma City Thunder when he was with the Clippers, and he had that mental lapse, and the Oklahoma City Thunder and Russell Westbrook went on to win the game within less than a minute, and the Clippers had control of the game. He blew another 3-1 lead. Like, at the end of the day, being up 3-1, we got to be fair. We criticized the hell out of the Los Angeles Clippers last year for blowing a 3-1 lead to a Denver Nuggets team. We will not let the Phoenix Suns off the hook, especially with them not having one of their best players in Kawhi Leonard. Marcus Morris is playing basically on one leg. He's 50%. Zubac just went out. He's injured. It's a hobble team. It's no pressure. Matter of fact, the Clippers are playing with house money right now. They're playing with house money. In my opinion, if the Clippers lose this series, it would be no pressure. It would be nothing said about them. Matter of fact, in my opinion, they overachieved, knocking off the Jazz, the #1 seed, when Kawhi went out. Paul George went on to lead them. Hot sauce Reggie Jackson doing his thing. No, but with Chris Paul right now being up 3-1 and having a chance to close this out and make his first finals appearance after choosing to go to Phoenix when he probably had the opportunity to go to the Lakers, Clippers, or any other contender, we can't let Chris Paul off the hook that easy. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Perk, I feel you, and I think I agree with the Clippers having house money here with Kawhi being out, the injuries, all of that. Those are excuses built in. Same thing, could you not agree, Monica, Perk, that end of the season, if the season ended right now, we'd call this season for the Suns, this Suns team, this young Suns team, a success. Yes, Monica?
Absolutely.
Yes. So the person with the most pressure here is Chris Paul. If he does anything but fall short of these finals, the think piece is going to be about his inability, for whatever reason, year after year, to not be able to get there.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.